My name is Elizabeth Jimenez, and today I'm going to discuss how my experience was completing the ELL lesson plan incorporating Sdaie strategies. The lesson plan that we designed, the host teacher and I, was regarding the English language literature of The Great Gatsby, grade level 11th, and English language learner English proficiency level of intermediate. The English language development standard that we designed the lesson around was the elaboration on critical principles for developing language and cognition in academic context. Part 1, interacting in meaningful ways. And the Common Core Standard ELA Literacy 11 through 12.2 determine 2 or more themes of central ideas of a text and analyze the development over the course of the text, including how they interact and build one another to produce a complex account, provide an objective summary of the text. The learning objective was to analyze power, gender, familial, social relationships in The Great Gatsby in a carousel discussion. This lesson begins with the last chapter to finalize the novel, which allowed the students to demonstrate their understanding of various themes throughout the novel. In the lesson, the students would assemble in groups of 4 to 5, and then they participated in the carousel discussion, for which they contributed their specific thoughts, text references, etc. from the novel. They also responded to their peers' contribution, and they completed 5 rounds of discussions. Then at the end, they had to report as a group on a poster content from the discussions and discuss each theme based on the class members' analysis during their rotations. The language objective was to determine 2 or more themes or central ideas of a text and analyze the development over the course of the text. The academic content objective was to provide an objective summary of the text, including how they interact and build one another to produce a complex account. The visual strategy that we used for this specific lesson was poster boards that included images related to the topic. So for example, here, this is something very similar to what they completed. If the theme that is listed is, if it said, how is the relationship of power used or abused by Daisy, then the poster will include images of a heart, maybe Daisy or Gatsby, and then a currency symbol so the students can make a connection to the overall theme that is listed. And then the academic learning strategy was for students to collaborate and talk through the carousel activity. The activity is set up for them to complete and talk through the activity. So for example, they had to explain the items they wrote on their poster and ask complete explanations of each item listed. We went around and made sure that they were understanding what they were writing on the poster board and giving us feedback to the reasoning behind the items that they either posted on the board or why they wrote certain phrases. And the Sdaie strategy, another Sdaie strategy that was incorporated was scaffolding. And carousel discussion scaffolds both new concepts and or information for new review through the movement of conversation and reflection from one station to the next in a circular pattern. And in order to provide comprehensible input, students may use their note. They were allowed to use their notes regarding important items prior to the discussion, to which they were able to refer to, and in addition, they were allowed to use their novel. Differentiated instruction was provided. We created a worksheet that had vocabulary terms listed that we considered to be at an academic level a lot higher, that maybe a lot of students would not be very familiar with. And in addition, there was definitions provided, and then an area where they could write their own notes to remember what the word means. And then they were also allowed to add more words to this list to be able to use this in the future for notes. And then the technology component was to add images to the poster. So we highly encourage them to go on the computer to find images that were related to the theme, to find quotes, to find anything that they would get their process going, thinking process going.